Hello, this is the project status report. The report date is today, 9/11/2022. The project name is a phenomenological case study in rural Mississippi on parental involvement. It is prepared by myself, Makita Watkins, as the principal investigator. The status summary for today or this past week in terms of earning my doctorate, I mentioned last week that I need 5 to 6 participants. Currently, I have 4, 3 of whom would like to participate in a focus group or one-on-one interview, and they made this known, of course, by signing the consent form and providing their email address. Therefore, the major challenge for me is the low response rate that I have to experience. And so the survey was easy to make and convenient to distribute, but the responses I am receiving are relatively weak. I do not know if people believe education in the rural Mississippi Delta can improve, or if it's my recognition within the rural or my presence within the rural region that is the problem. At any rate, I must not allow bias to come into my interpretation of these results. And so that's my focus, not allowing that bias to come in. And so, according to Perkins 2011, some of the best practices for surveys include multiple contacts. And so I'm applying that and using multiple contacts, and I changed my method to a snowball method instead of the purposeful sampling. And creating, these are other ideas from Perkins. So again, multiple contacts, creating an applicable sample frame, personalizing messages to participants, and using prepaid incentives. And so some best practices I have implemented to increase my online survey response rate includes, using the multiple contacts from various cohorts that I'm a part of, printing my flyers to advertise my announcement, attempting to gather responses from university parents, and personalizing messages. I think that's strong because right away I can get a response when I personalize my message through my contacts. And so these are things I have tried. However, still the response rate is relatively weak. Alternatives I have implemented this week, so this past week, the week of 9/5 through 9/9/2022, include contacting several rural area schools. I continue to do that and follow up. I included one within my school district. I did get approval, however, to no avail. The PTA at one school is waiting for permission from their head administrator. In another community, the superintendent still did not respond. Followed up with the assistant superintendent. She won't respond anymore. My school's assistant superintendent, I have been in contact with him, spoke with him over email and over the phone. And in my district, I wanted to survey PTA members and parents, but he only gave me permission to do that at my school, but not at any other schools. And then he turned around and said, yes, I can do it at another school. So it's been a lot of communication back and forth, just to make sure that I'm clear and that he's clear about what I'm trying to do. So at first he said, no, just your school. And then I'm trying to explain, okay, my school would not be, they won't meet the criteria. And then he says, okay, yes, you can go to our one Delta region school, that's an elementary school, and contact the school administrator. And he really did a lot of the footwork for me in that process. And so, however, I received the contact information of some more parents because my thoughts were, okay, our school does not have parents in the rural area, but upon talking with my school head leader, we found about 8 parents this year who moved from a Delta region school. So I used those 8 parents' phone numbers I received from the records clerk at my school. The records clerk gave that information to me, and I was able to use that. However, 3 of these parents were the only ones who responded to the phone calls. And when they did answer, neither had connections with parents in rural Mississippi, currently still have those connections. And so, again, to no avail. The online survey and interviews are necessary for data collection and to make data-driven decisions, and that comes from Perkins 2011. However, parents' interest appears to be relatively low, and participants may not know me well enough to care, that it's going to benefit me and schools and other educators. They just don't know me well enough. My presence in the Delta area is not there regularly. And so the topic of parental involvement is just not as enthusiastically received as I had once believed. And the lack of responses, it hinders the change that I would like to see and that I thought the community wanted to see. So again, more than 20 participants have opened my survey, and to date, only 4 completed. So a project overview, I kind of did that in the summary, the status summary, but I'll continue. The project overview sort of looks like this. I went to a Delta area fire station on 8/7/2022. There's no expiration date. Yes, this is on track with what I want to see done. And my notes were the lieutenant said that they have staff with students in school, but they are all in high school or middle school. So again, my survey and my research deals with elementary schools, which is a gap in the area of the research. Again, I did receive, another task was to contact parents at my school who moved from the Delta region, which is what I explained earlier. I began doing this on the morning of 8/9/2022, so that was Friday morning. Again, there is no expiration date. It is on track with what I wanted to see happen. However, I received permission of, to contact our school records clerk. She gave me those 8 parent contact informations. Again, 3 parents responded but had no connections to other parents who actually live and their children attend a Delta region school to participate in the survey. After that, another task, I took it upon myself to speak with the head administrator at our one Delta region school, and I was offered an opportunity to speak for 3 to 5 minutes with the parents at their coming October PTA meeting. This was done through email, and it happened on 8/5/2022 when I spoke to the administrator. The time it expires would be in October. She mentioned towards the end of October, so October 2022. And it is on track with, helping me get more participants. And my notes were that I hope to have the necessary participants within September and not having it linger into October 2022. So I'm glad to receive that information from her, but it's unfortunate it's further out than I would like to be. I would love to have my last participant, which I need 5 again, within the month of September. So another task was a tentative PTA meeting in late October, and that's just a little bit further out than I want to be. I met with a daycare director in the Delta region. This happened on 8/6/2022, and no expiration. Yes, it is in line with and on track with what I want to see happen. My notes were that the manager said she recognized me from directing traffic at my school. So this bus daycare van driver for after school and before school care. She also picks up people from our school, from my school. And so she recognized me and she was like, okay, yes, Miss Watkins, we have about 50% of our students who we pick up from the Delta region. And so she was very happy to pass out my survey announcement, and I gave her several copies to give to students so that they can pass those to parents. And that was when I had three participants, and now I have four. So I think good things came from that connection. The budget overview. It was not affected in any way tremendously. What cost me anything was printing the materials. I had to print more posters, more survey announcements. In total, ink, paper, roughly $20. It doesn't expire, I guess, and it is on track. But again, my notes say that I passed out more flyers to parents as I passed through the Delta region. And this is also something I did when I spent time in the area. And I gave a stack of the flyers to the director of the Delta area before and after school daycare. Another category under budget is I looked to use incentives. So in the future, I'm looking to use incentives for my focus group and one-on-one interviews because it just seems that parents, our time is the most valuable resource. And so it seems that parents need to be, compensated maybe a bit there. And so $15 Amazon gift cards is what came to mind for me. I'm pretty sure they don't expire. It's on track to help me move further in the research because I did not present the focus group, within a week after I received the survey results, because everything is so sporadic. And so I think it's just a good idea to incentivize my participants in going further. And so I will consider purchasing 5 Amazon gift cards. And this is something that Perkins 2011 also discussed. He discussed the benefits of using prepaid incentives. And so I believe this is something I need to consider. Risk and issue history. At this point, I only need one more participant. So that's kind of an issue because I'm not all the way there yet. And so as the principal investigator, I will continue to follow up with parents. I did that last week. I'm going to continue doing that this week. Consider offering $15 gift cards for focus groups or interviews. I want to give my parents and participants a choice in which they would like to do. The date is just to be determined based upon when I receive my last participant. Another issue is that, again, I need one participant, but I have assigned, myself the responsibility, which this is all my responsibility, but I spoke with the school administrator and the daycare, fire station director or lieutenant, a trucking company staff. There were members who were leaving the trucking company when I was passing through, and I stopped right away and spoke to those adults, and I told them, who I was, just quickly introduced myself and explained what I'm trying to do. And if they have any children that's in the area, in elementary school, and, if they were parents, if they would please take my survey. They were kind of in a hurry to go home, on that night. And so I did receive 2 contact phone numbers, and these parents, allowed me, to receive their numbers. I shared my announcement with them via text message, and I didn't get any new survey completion notifications. However, I will follow up with that this week. And so moving forward, parents at the school and parents that I pass within the Delta region, I assigned myself the task of just reaching out even more. And in conclusion or recommendations, I must keep the right attitude to overcome these challenges or this challenge with um, my participants, and know that I still have some time. And now it is drawing, that gap of time is closing. However, it's not over yet. So I've come too far at this point. And failure and mediocrity are simply not an option for me at this moment. So I intend to continue, and with all of the above mentioned methods, and increase my response rate, and using incentives and crafting invitations more personalized, using messages with skills, and I'll continue to drive out into the Delta region. It's maybe a 25-30 minute drive for me each way, but and I honestly couldn't find one restaurant to eat at. Everything looks pretty abandoned, but there were gas stations that sold food. Not interested in eating it, but I will go in and figure some things out so that I can reach participants, talk to some adults, and find out if they are willing to take my survey as parents of elementary school students. And so I just have to show my presence in that community. Um, and as I mentioned earlier in closing, the attitude. It is so important to have the right attitude. And as I opened up with this summary report, it is very critical that I do not allow bias to come into my interpretations of the results. And that is all that I have for this project report or project summary status report. And I know I'm a little bit over my time, but thank you so much for listening. Thank you.